everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my monthly rundown of all the new perfume releases that came out in July 2023. I have a few to go through. Every month I do this video, so do check out my previous months, and as always all the links will be in the description box to where you can get all the perfumes I talk about around the world where they are released. And of course you can also find the links to my website where I have my Empress perfume, my new Aphrodite, and my super concentrated soy wax candles that have 100% 5-star reviews. And if you're a regular viewer, do make sure you're subscribed and give the video a thumbs up. That really helps me. Cool. So we've had a combination of different types of perfumes coming out. Probably one of the most anticipated ones is the new perfume from Lancome in their IDôLE collection. This is called IDôLE Now. We've had quite a few different versions of IDôLE Now. The original one is a beautiful fresh rose with some pear, a little bit of jasmine, very universal and lasts really well. The intense version was a bit woody, that's discontinued. I'll leave the links to where you can still get it if you are a fan of the intense version. Then we had Aura that was quite vanilla-y. We had Nectar that had a little bit of popcorn in, but not like in my Empress. And then now we have Now. So this definitely reminds me of the original. They all have this rose note running through them, and this is very much Now. Alongside that we have an orchid note, and orchid is a really pretty, slightly green floral, and it really works with the rose to give it that kind of green, fresh feeling. And there's a hint of vanilla in the base, but you can't really smell it, not like in the Aura version. I do have a video that goes in detail into each version, by the way. So I think this is definitely one that if you like the original, you'll like this. It doesn't have the pear or any fruity like top note. It really does go straight into a slightly green rose and orchid. Orchid is a note that you find in Flower Bomb, that you find in Calvin Klein Euphoria, so it kind of reminds me a bit of Euphoria. Very feminine, very pretty. Definitely something you could wear to the office, you could wear anywhere, which I kind of feel like that was most of the IDôLE perfumes. And the sillage is pretty good. You can really smell it. They're all eau de parfums, all the Lancome IDôLE fragrances, and I do find that they last well, they linger around. In fact, I tend to recommend like all Lancome perfumes. I think they're all pretty well made. And one change that we've seen in these bottles recently is originally they were all just totally thin, and they were sort of marketed as the thinnest perfume ever, but these past year or two they now have a slightly rounded base so they can stand up. The first bottles couldn't stand up, so I think if you're a fan of the original, then definitely worth trying this. I'm not sure if it's different enough to warrant having it as well, but I think this is a very safe blind buy if you like your floral perfumes. So definitely Soki approved. A new one that I am really loving is the latest from Kenzo. So the Kenzo Flower perfume that has the poppy on it has been around over 20 years now, I think, and we've had so many different versions of it. This new one is called Flower by Kenzo Ikebana, and Ikebana is a type of very considered Japanese flower arranging, and very thoughtful, very zen. And as you can see from the bottle, this perfume is about cherry blossom, which obviously makes a lot of sense. Kenzo being a Japanese brand, you tend to associate flower blossom with Japan. Cherry blossom is such a delicate floral note, so what they've done here is they've added in some tuberose, which I really like. It's so common these days to see jasmine added in to support a delicate floral. Tuberose I think is just a little bit more modern, and there's also a hint of a buckwheat tea, which is cozy. But what you really get here is the sandalwood that's in the base, which is very creamy. It smells slightly vanilla-y, very warm, cozy, and I get that more than I get the cherry blossom. So it's very pretty, feminine, though I think you could definitely, like, this is quite a gender neutral fragrance if you like your sandalwoods with a little bit of a floral feel. It's an eau de parfum. It's not super intense. I found it lasted a few hours. It's not too overpowering. In general, Kenzo perfumes tend to be quite light, the kind of thing like you'd wear during the day, and I think this is very universal. I can see a 15-year-old wearing this, I can see a 50-year-old, I can see a 100-year-old wearing this. Quite a safe blind buy, and because it's not too overpowering as well. And it definitely has quite a moorish, slightly addictive quality to it, which I think is that sandalwood, and it's kind of like quite cozy. So it's not what I was expecting from the cherry blossom branding. Usually cherry blossom is quite light, airy, springtime, whereas I think this is more creamy, floral, and you could could wear this any time of year. I would definitely say daytime though, rather than evening. I think this is also a nice thing for sort of cozy around the house, or if you wear a perfume to bed, it's got a very cozy vibe to it. So another Soki approved. I like this one as well. We've had 2 new fragrances from KAYALI, the brand run by Mona, the sister of Huda Beauty. And these are to celebrate her wedding last year, and they're called The Wedding. And there's Silk Santal and Velvet Santal. They don't say like for him or for her, but I guess like from the marketing and everything, Mona has this and her husband has the black one. They both are about sandalwood, which is what Santal means. I really like the Silk Santal one. It's exactly what I would expect. I've met her a few times and it kind of smells like her. I wonder if this is what she was wearing. It's got a lot of ingredients in here. It's got champagne, I guess, you know, celebrating wedding champagne, but you have a fresh nectarine top note, and then you've got a whole bouquet of flowers: orange blossom, jasmine, freesia, rose. Pretty, but what you really get here is a sugary base. So that sandalwood, they really bring out a sugary vanilla quality to it. So it is quite sweet, and that works really well with the nectarine to create a very sweet nectarine. And a little bit like the Kenzo one, it feels very Moorish to me, very cozy. At the same time, I think it's kind of sexy as well. I think that sweetness, it would make it a really nice evening fragrance. It's fun, but it's complex, it's serious, it's nice. It is an eau de parfum. And yeah, I'm loving that if you like your sweeter fragrances, your sugary fragrances, she has done a few like quite sweet perfumes and it's definitely along those lines. So this is definitely one that I like and I would definitely wear this. The Velvet Santal definitely leans towards a more male typical fragrance, but they are unisex. This one is slightly simpler as well. We've got an ambery benzoin feeling to the sandalwood with a fair amount of fresh like cedar wood. There's also a hint of tea, so it's quite refreshing. You could definitely wear this day or night. It's quite strong, but it's definitely bringing out like a woody sandalwood, you know, like a cedar wood, green tree type of wood, and there's no sweetness in this one. We have a new perfume from Issey Miyake in their Drop to Issey range. These perfumes are so cool. I think the bottle's so cool, and this is the 3rd one. I have my detailed video and article on my website about these perfumes. The first one's definitely one for lilac lovers, and lilac is quite rare. We don't see that a lot in perfumes. And the second one was a little bit aquatic-y, but still had the lilac. Now this 3rd one, which is called a Drop to Issey Essential, has really green notes in it. It really feels like a tropical rainforest, very lush, aquatic environment. And all 3 have very good like lasting power. They're all eau de parfums, and Issey Miyake is another brand that I find really has good lasting power. So the lilac here is much less prominent than in the other 2 because there's a magnolia note which really is coming through. I get it more than the lilac, and magnolia is a bit more aquatic, a bit more delicate, a bit more fresher than lilac. And then I really get these watery, aquatic, green leaf notes, like you've just snipped a stem and you really smell like the greenness of leaves. It definitely is giving me those sort of just rained, humid, tropical vibes. So if you like your green, fresh perfumes, this is definitely one to try, and it is good value for money, I think, because it does last. We have a new perfume from Kate Spade. This is called Kate Spade Cherie. This is very much for me an innocent, everyday, girly perfume. An opening note that for me is dominated by red currant, so fruity but slightly tart. And then the heart is jasmine and sweet pea. Sweet pea is the main scent in the new version of Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet. So if you like that, this is a more affordable sweet pea. It's not particularly strong or long lasting. It's very much like everyday fruity floral perfume. This is very inoffensive. I do like these new bottles from Kate Spade. They feel very heavy. The lid is very thick. The glass is very thick. It's nothing like remarkable or new. Definitely smelled something like this before, but it's, you know, it's inoffensive. So there's nothing wrong with it. We have 2 new perfumes from Barbour. Barbour is a British sort of outdoors clothing brand, and these are their 2nd releases. The female one is a very light bergamot, and they're called Barbour Aquatic. This is very much like fresh, hot day lemon perfume if you're looking for a very light lemon. There are some slight aromatic undertones, but for me, bergamot is definitely the main scent here. And even though it's eau de parfum, for me, this performs like an eau de toilette. So I'd really recommend this for someone looking for something very light. Has some similarities to the new Bronze Goddess Lumiere, which is also very lemony, very light. The male version, again, I went to the launch event for this and people were really loving the male version. It has a lot of aromatic calming notes in it. Cardamom really comes through. I really like it. I went with Stephen, my boyfriend, and he really liked it. Very much like perfect for when it's spring or summer and you don't want something too heavy, but it does really stick around. And aromatic is that sort of outdoors L'Occitane, slightly herbal scent, which is very relaxing and calming. There were also a fair few ladies at the event as well that said they'd wear this. So if you like your aromatic perfumes, like the smell of like L'Occitane type fragrances, this is worth a try. So we have 2 new perfumes from Maison Crivelli, the niche fragrance house. I was at interview with Mr. Crivelli at Harrods earlier this month, and essentially this new perfume is an oud. I think it's the first oud he's done, and it's called Oud Maracuja, and it's one of their extrait de parfum. So it's very heavy, very concentrated. They really are strong, these extraits. Their Hibiscus Mahajad is the bestseller, very intense. And this one really is like a leathery, deep, intense oud, very good quality oud. It has a hint of passion fruit in the top note, but it really is the oud that lasts. A hint of saffron, a hint of patchouli, very, very unisex. If you do like ouds, I definitely recommend checking these out. They are quite pricey, but the concentration is very, very intense. I think it's like 30 to 40%, which is similar concentration to my Empress Intense perfume. So definitely a really good quality oud. And then they've then done this one perfume exclusive only to Harrods. I'll leave the link below. And that's called Oud Stallion. And that one doesn't have the passion fruit. Instead, we've got some cardamom mixing with the oud and also a rose. So it's less leathery and it's more classical oud rose, like a lot of fragrances you see in like Middle Eastern brands where rose and oud are often combined. And then finally, we have another niche fragrance brand, Fragrance du Bois. They have this new perfume called Lovers. Have a sample of it here. This is a unisex fragrance and it's kind of like a rose saffron perfume. It's got a fair amount of patchouli and wood in the base, but for me the rose and the saffron really came through as the main notes. It's pretty intense, pretty heavy eau de parfum, but if you're looking for a classical feeling fragrance, this in my view, combining like a typical rose, patchouli, wood with a little bit of a fruity top note and then that saffron really coming through. If you like your saffron perfumes, then this is definitely worth a try. They have so many in their range now, Fragrance du Bois. They're all very intense and they're very luxe. They come with these like gold packaging and stuff. So those are all the new releases I've managed to get my hands on this month. My Aphrodite perfume is available right now in samples and travel sprays. My 50ml bottles have been delayed, which is incredibly frustrating, but they're going to be coming out week commencing 7th of August. My samples and travel sprays actually sold out, so and I know you guys have been reviewing it and really enjoying it. Such a fun tropical perfume. But yeah, soon I will publish a video just about Aphrodite when that 50ml is out. And thank you to everyone who's been placing your orders and pre-orders. I can't wait for you all to try it. But yeah, that's everything guys. Links below to where you can get everything I've talked about as always, and do give the video a thumbs up. But that's it. So thanks so much for watching as always, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.